Dominican Republic, a nation full of life and geographic richness. A dazzling destination due to its variety of landscapes. National parks full of biodiversity, fertile valleys, towering waterfalls, and sunlit arid deserts. Its white sand beaches, bathed by crystal-clear waters and tropical vegetation, attract millions of visitors every year. A land of paradisiacal contrasts where majestic mountains stand in contrast to the modern urban avenues and skyscrapers of Santo Domingo. Let's explore together and discover some of the most interesting and extraordinary facts about the Dominican Republic. The name Dominican Republic comes from Santo Domingo, the capital of the country, named in honor of Saint Dominic, Santo Domingo de Guzman, founder of the Dominican Order. When the country achieved its independence in 1844, it adopted the name Dominican Republic as a symbol of its sovereign identity. Although many historians believe that the first inhabitants called it Quisqueya, which is why today it is colloquially referred to as Quisqueya la Bella, this Caribbean country stands out not only for its history but also for a vibrant mix of culture, music, sports, and human warmth that make it unforgettable. One of the Dominican Republic's greatest prides is its tourism. Its white sand beaches, crystal-clear waters, and tropical landscapes, such as those of Punta Cana, Samaná, or Puerto Plata, make it a paradise for millions of visitors every year. Music is also an essential part of its identity. The Dominican Republic is the birthplace of merengue and bachata, rhythms that not only fill its streets with joy but have also conquered the world. In the field of sports, the country stands out as a baseball powerhouse. It has produced some of the best major league players, solidifying its international reputation. In addition, Santo Domingo is home to the colonial zone, recognized as the first European city in the Americas, full of history and architecture that connect the past with the present. Finally, what truly makes the Dominican Republic special is its kind, joyful, and hospitable people. The warmth of the Dominican people is a treasure that turns every visit into a close and memorable experience. A small country with a giant soul. Today we embark on a fascinating journey through one of the most spectacular regions of the Caribbean, the southeast of the Dominican Republic. Our journey begins in Punta Cana, a world-renowned tourist gem known for its dream beaches and all-inclusive resorts. Bávaro Beach is the most impressive stretch of beach where you can wade in the water, walk for hours along the sand, and where resorts line the shore filled with luxurious marinas and gourmet dining, as well as some of the best spas in the Caribbean. Additionally, Punta Cana is also a paradise for golfers with 10 golf courses located along the coast. Just a couple of hours away we find Bayahibe, a charming fishing village that serves as the starting point to one of the country's natural wonders, Saona Island, located within the East National Park. Its crystal-clear waters, pristine beaches, and Ibido Marina make this place a living postcard. We continue to La Romana, a modern and cultural city where Altos de Chavín stands out, an artistic village that recreates a 16th-century Mediterranean town with stunning views of the Chavín River. A short distance away is Higüey, the spiritual center of the region and home to the imposing Basilica of Our Lady of Altagracia, one of the most visited shrines in the Caribbean. From there, we travel to the picturesque Boca de Yuma, where the river meets the sea among cliffs and hidden caves, a perfect place to relax to the rhythm of the sea. Further north, the lush green of Los Haitises National Park welcomes us with magotes, mangroves, and ancient caves. We can access this natural treasure from Sabana de la Mar, a quiet coastal town full of authenticity. We cannot leave out Michis, an emerging destination surrounded by mountains, beaches, and lagoons, ideal for ecotourism and adventure. We close this tour in San Pedro de Macorís, the birthplace of great baseball players. A lively city full of sugarcane history and Victorian-influenced architecture. The Dominican Southeast is a mosaic of nature, history, and culture that invites you to discover the most vibrant essence of the Caribbean. Dominican Republic, culture and traditions. Dominican culture is a vibrant mosaic of music, tradition, and Caribbean passion. This beautiful region is recognized for its craftsmanship, especially cigar making, and for being the birthplace of merengue, an emblematic musical genre that, along with bachata, sets the country's rhythm since the 19th century. Many of the best Dominican musicians have emerged from these lands, taking their rhythm to the world. Dominicans are cheerful, hospitable, and have a great sense of humor. They love to share their identity, from music to customs such as cockfighting, a deeply rooted practice with more than 2,000 registered cockfighting arenas, which provides employment for about 250,000 people. Family holds a central place in Dominican society. United, conservative, and affectionate, it is the core where values and traditions are passed down. Dominican culture was forged by the mix of the Taino spirit, African drums, and Spanish heritage. Its religious celebrations reflect centuries of history lived with joy. Baseball is more than a sport. It is a national passion that creates heroes and dreams. Creole cuisine, rich in flavors of rice, meat, and plantains, is another pillar of its identity. Dominican culture is not told, it is felt. A land where every gesture, every song, and every celebration is a tribute to life. Its culture is not just a heritage. It is a constant declaration of Dominican identity, freedom, and passion. It is lived, felt, carried in the blood. Santo Domingo, capital of the Dominican Republic, stands majestically on the southeast coast of the Caribbean, precisely at the mouth of the Ozama River. With more than 4.5 million inhabitants in its metropolitan area, it holds the title of the most populated city both in the country and in the entire Caribbean region. Founded by Bartolomé Colón in 1498, this city has the historic privilege of being recognized as the first permanent European settlement in the American continent and the first governmental seat of the Crown of Castile in the New World. This extraordinary historical value has earned its colonial city the designation of a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. As the first American capital, Santo Domingo houses architectural treasures of incalculable value. The Cathedral of Santa Maria la Menor stands proudly as the first church built in the Western Hemisphere, while the imposing Alcázar de Colón, former residence of Diego Colón, son of the famous navigator, is considered the first castle built in America. A tour through this city reveals historical gems such as the Museum of the Royal Houses, the former administrative headquarters of the Spanish crown during the 16th century, Colón Park, the center of colonial social life, the ruins of the San Francisco Monastery, a pioneer in American lands, and the Ozama Fortress, the oldest on the continent. Contemporary Santo Domingo complements its historical richness with emblematic spaces like the National Palace, the current seat of the Dominican executive power, the monumental Columbus Lighthouse, erected to commemorate the 5th centenary of the discovery, the picturesque George Washington Avenue with its beautiful boardwalk facing the Caribbean Sea, and large green spaces like the popular Mirador del Sur Park. This harmonious fusion between its glorious colonial past and its vibrant urban present makes Santo Domingo a fascinating destination that captivates visitors from around the world. Life in the Dominican Republic. In the Dominican Republic, life is not rushed. It is enjoyed. With every smile, with every landscape, the country offers a constant invitation to live simpler, closer, more human. Living in the Dominican Republic is embracing a lifestyle where the warmth of the climate blends with that of its people. It is inhabiting a land blessed by the sun, among palm trees that dance to the rhythm of the Caribbean Sea and mountains that protect fertile valleys and towns full of tradition. Life here is a vibrant balance between nature, culture, everyday joy, and a growing modernity that does not give up what is essential. The Dominican lifestyle is characterized by its relaxed pace and deep connection with nature. Days are savored slowly, with time to share a coffee, a family meal, or an afternoon by the sea. In big cities like Santo Domingo or Santiago, life is faster paced, but along the coast time stretches generously, like the ocean horizon. Tourist areas such as Punta Cana, La Romana, Samaná, or Puerto Plata offer a high quality of life, driven by the development of marinas, resorts, golf courses, and first-class services. Many coastal communities have flourished around tourism, attracting both visitors and foreign residents seeking sun, tranquility, and a Caribbean lifestyle. The warm climate all year round allows enjoyment of the beach, countryside, and mountains without restrictions. Outdoor life is an essential value. Life is lived on the beach, walking jungle trails, sailing between islands, or watching the sunset from a terrace. Puerto Plata and the North Coast. Puerto Plata, jewel of the Dominican Atlantic, rises between mountains and sea as a city that holds in its streets the essence of history, courage, and natural beauty. Its most imposing symbol, the San Felipe Fortress, has watched the horizon since the 16th century, a witness to pirates, colonizers, and the rebellious spirit of the people. From the cable car and its lookout at Isabel de Torres Peak, the view reveals a paradise where the green of the mountains blends with the endless blue of the sea. The modern port overflows with life with the daily arrival of majestic cruise ships, bringing travelers who discover a lively, welcoming city proud of its legacy, Puerto Plata. It is not just an entry point. It is the beating heart of the North Coast, a coastline where every corner is a tribute to nature and adventure. To the east, Sosua enchants with its crystal-clear waters and multicultural history. Cabaret, Temple of Wind and Waves, attracts surfers from around the world. But beyond, in Cabrera, the coast becomes epic. Old French Cape, Cabo Francis Viejo, with its legendary cliffs, Diamante Beach, a secret of serene waters, La Entrada and Los Caquitos, living postcards of hidden paradises, and Arroyo Salado Beach, where nature sings in peace. To the west, Montecristi and La Ensenada unfold a majestic geography, while Nagua marks the end of this journey of splendor. The North Coast is not visited. It is honored, lived, and remembered. Santo Domingo has a rich and unique history. It was the first port of exploration toward America and later the target of attacks such as that of Francis Drake in 1586, which led to almost 50 years of pirate domination. But there is something many do not know. The Dominican Republic could celebrate two different independence dates. The first occurred on December 1, 1821, when the independent state of Spanish Haiti was proclaimed. However, this attempt lasted only 68 days. At the beginning of 1822, the Haitian army occupied the territory and governed it for 22 years. During that period, much of the Spanish culture and language were suppressed, and there was an attempt to impose Creole and the Haitian system. It was on February 27, 1844, when the Dominicans, led by Juan Pablo Duarte and the secret society La Trinitaria, achieved definitive independence. This date is the one currently celebrated as the birth of the Dominican Republic. A curious detail is the national flag, designed by Duarte himself. It is the only one in the world that has a Bible at its center, a symbol of the deep Christian roots of the Dominican people. The history of the Dominican Republic is one of resistance, identity, and constant rebirth. Each date, symbol, and hero represents not only the struggle for freedom but also the passion of a people to preserve their essence. Santiago de los Caballeros and the Cibao Valley. The Cibao Valley is the fertile heart of the Dominican Republic, a majestic plain that breathes abundance and feeds the entire nation. Its lands, blessed by rivers like the Yaque del Norte, produce the agricultural soul of the country. Rice, plantains, sugarcane, cocoa, and tobacco grow under a generous sun that never hides. This valley not only yields crops, it gives identity. At its center beats strongly Santiago de los Caballeros, the second city of the Dominican Republic, with a population of just under 1 million inhabitants since its founding in 1495. Named after the 30 noble Spaniards or knights, this bustling metropolis has been considered a wealthy and hardworking city. Its privileged location at the intersection of Western Cibao and the Vega Real, with easy access to the country's two main ports, Puerto Plata and Santo Domingo, positions it as a vital hub of commerce and national production. Santiago is the industrial engine of the country and the undisputed capital of world-quality tobacco, as well as a key player in the cocoa and sugar industries. Its skyline is crowned by the imposing monument to the heroes of the Restoration, a beacon of history and resistance at its feet. The Cathedral of Santiago Apostle holds the city's spirituality and memory. Today, Santiago is transforming. Its modern monorail system, unique in the Caribbean, announces a new era of mobility and development. Its dynamic and modern Cibao International Airport connects this legendary land with the world. Santiago not only grows, it leads. And the Cibao, eternal and fertile, continues to be the root that nourishes the Dominican soul. The economy. The Dominican Republic is the largest economy in the Caribbean and Central America, driven by the strength of its people and the richness of its land. Over the last decade, it has been the fastest-growing economy in Latin America, earning it the nickname the Singapore of the Caribbean. Its economic model rests on solid pillars: foreign trade, tourism, remittances, mining, the pharmaceutical industry, and the production of medical and electronic equipment. From the golden sands of Punta Cana to the fertile fields of the Cibao, the country displays a vibrant and resilient model. Tourism, the backbone of its economy, attracts more than 10 million annual visitors. Meanwhile, free trade zones export high-demand products worldwide, such as premium cigars, textiles, and technology. Remittances, sent with love from the diaspora, support thousands of families and stimulate commerce, becoming pure oxygen for the popular economy. Mining provides strategic resources like gold, silver, amber, and marble, while agriculture with cacao, bananas, rice, and tobacco maintains its relevance in the country's interior. At the same time, investments in infrastructure are transforming the urban landscape and connecting regions with a vision for the future. The Dominican Republic not only grows, it transforms, projects itself, and leads the Caribbean with vision, work, and hope. Barahona and the Southwest. This region, often called the Deep South, is one of the country's best-kept secrets. A natural symphony of deserts, mountains, pristine beaches, and ancient lakes. A place where the Caribbean reveals its most authentic face. Here, history, vital energy, and wild beauty merge to create a territory that resists oblivion and captivates without asking permission. The city of Barahona, gateway to this fascinating universe, is a port jewel embraced by the sea and mountains, founded on foundations of effort and work, and has historically been an economic engine of the South. With its sugar mills, the extraction of minerals like larimar, the semi-precious volcanic stone unique to the country, and today also with its growing commitment to renewable energy. The port of Barahona not only moves goods, it moves stories, cultures, and dreams. Along its coast, paradises like Los Haitises stretch out, where the shortest and coldest river in the Caribbean gracefully empties into the sea, creating a sublime contrast. Further east, Bahia de las Calderas offers a serene view of the sea, framed by the extraordinary landscape of the Bani Dunes, the largest desert in the Caribbean. A sea of sand where the wind draws eternal waves. Moving deeper into the deep south, nature becomes a marvel. Jarabacoa National Park, with its wild beaches and arid zones, is a sanctuary for flamingos, iguanas, and turtles. The Sierra de Bajaruco rises majestically, covered in pine forests, cloud forests, and endemic species. In the heart of the valley, Lake Enriquillo, the largest and saltiest in the Caribbean, sinks below sea level like an ancient mirror, home to American crocodiles and migratory birds. The Samaná Peninsula and Los Haitises. Samaná is more than a peninsula. It is an untouched Eden that stretches into the Atlantic with the force of nature in its purest form. This legendary corner of the northeastern Dominican Republic is a sanctuary of biodiversity, history, and mysticism. Land of green mountains, secluded beaches, and deep jungles, it was once a hideout for pirates, a refuge for freed Afro-Americans. Today, it is one of the most magical destinations in the Caribbean. Currently, the area is a popular tourist destination with many visitors coming to experience the natural beauty of the region, especially famous for humpback whale watching. Las Galeras, at the eastern tip, is a haven of peace. Where time stands still before the turquoise blue sea, its pristine beaches like Playa Rincón, located at the tip of the peninsula, are believed to be where Christopher Columbus landed on the island. Here, the whisper of the wind through the palms and the foam of the waves compose a wild symphony that only nature can write. To the northwest, Las Terrenas blends bohemian charm and tropical paradise. Its coasts, such as Playa Bonita and Cosan, are living postcards of golden sands and endless coconut palms. About 14 kilometers southeast of Las Terrenas, in the surrounding forests, is an impressive natural attraction: the magnificent waterfall of El Salto del Limón, a fall of more than 40 meters that roars like a green heart. Swimming in its natural pool is an act of communion with the sacred, and as if all this were not enough, rises Los Haitises National Park, one of the most breathtaking places in the country. It covers an area of 1,600 square kilometers, and it houses one of the most important rainforests in the Dominican Republic. Mangroves extend like living veins, ancestral caves, and rock formations covered in jungle emerge from the water like legendary creatures. Los Haitises, which means mountainous land in the Taino language, attracts many visitors who arrive by boat to admire its magnificent series of hump-shaped hills covered in dense tropical vegetation. The Central Mountain Range rises majestically as the backbone of the Dominican Republic, hosting the highest peaks in the Caribbean. This impressive mountain system crosses the island of Hispaniola from northwest to southeast, defining not only the geography but also the Dominican cultural identity, with an approximate length of 190 kilometers. The Central Mountain Range constitutes the country's most important orographic core. Its mountains reach heights over 3,000 m, creating diverse microclimates that enrich Dominican biodiversity with endemic species of flora and fauna. Within it lies Pico Duarte, which at 3,175 m, represents the highest point in the Caribbean. This natural giant attracts hikers from all over the world, who face the challenge of conquering its summit to behold unforgettable panoramas where the sky seems to merge with the earth. Constanza, known as the coldest city in the Caribbean, nestles at 1,200 m above sea level. Its temperatures, which can drop to 0 degrees Celsius, contrast with the typical tropical climate. This climatic peculiarity has turned its valley into the country's granary, where crops from temperate zones like strawberries, apples, garlic, and various vegetables thrive. The Constanza Valley dazzles with its perfectly laid-out agricultural fields, creating a mosaic of greens and ochres that change with the seasons. The Constanza waterfalls complete this dreamlike landscape. The whitewater cascades fall from 83 meters in a visual and auditory spectacle that mesmerizes visitors. Valle Nuevo National Park is the highest plateau in the region, averaging 2,000 m, hosting the sources of the main rivers that supply the country, becoming the true water factory of the Dominican Republic. Jarabacoa, founded in 1805, shines as an ecotourism destination par excellence. Known as the City of Eternal Spring for its mild climate, it combines colonial history with outdoor adventures, standing out for its international rafting competitions on the Yaque del Norte River. This river, the longest in the country at 296 kilometers, originates in the heights of the Central Mountain Range. Its crystal-clear waters wind through valleys and canyons, not only providing vital water resources but also creating landscapes of incomparable beauty that define the natural postcard of the Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic is located on the island of Santo Domingo, also known as Hispaniola, the second largest island in the Greater Antilles Archipelago, in the Caribbean Sea region. Dominican Republic occupies 2/3 of the island, which it shares with Haiti, the country with which it shares its only land border. It is also surrounded by the Atlantic Ocean to the north and the Caribbean Sea to the south. Dominican Republic is separated from Puerto Rico by the Mona Passage, a 130 kilometers wide channel that connects the Caribbean Sea with the Atlantic Ocean. The surface area of the Dominican Republic is over 48,000 square kilometers, and it is administratively divided into 31 provinces and one national district, where its capital, Santo Domingo, is located. The territory of the Dominican Republic is relatively mountainous, with the Central Mountain Range running through the center of the island and the Sierra de Neiba in the southwest. It is in the Central Mountain Range where its highest point is found, which is also the highest point in the entire Caribbean, Pico Duarte at 3,098 meters. In contrast, the country is also home to the lowest point in the Caribbean, Lake Enriquillo, with an elevation of 44 meters below sea level. It is also the largest lake in the country, The mountainous regions are the base of beautiful and fertile valleys, among which the Constanza Valley and the Banao Valley in the center of the country stand out, as well as the Cibao Valley, considered the nation's breadbasket. In addition, the country has several navigable rivers, including the beautiful Yak River, the longest in the Antilles, with a length of 296 kilometers. 25% of the country consists of parks, sanctuaries, and nature reserves, including gems like Los Haitises, with its impressive karst formations, and the Jarabacoa National Park in the southwest. The country also has an incredible variety of coastlines, totaling approximately 1,609 kilometers, which makes the Dominican Republic full of beautiful and paradisaical beaches, from Bávaro Punta Cana in the east to the pristine Bahia de Los Aguilas in the southwest. This geographic diversity creates a mosaic of microclimates that host a rich biodiversity, with thousands of species of plants and animals that make this island a true natural treasure of the Caribbean. For you, which fact do you think we should have included, or which of the ones we mentioned do you find most interesting? Leave us your comments. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet, and give this video a like. And we'll see you in our next exploration of wonders around our planet.